there, mathematicians. It's Miss Johnson, and today we're going to be looking at some integer questions, and we're going to be practicing using what we learned about add, subtract, multiply, and dividing integers, and applying it just to some word problems. All right, so let's go ahead and look at number 1. It says Orlando rolled both the number cubes and found the sum. So there's a keyword right there, sum. You have to remember that sum means that is the answer to an addition problem. I'm just going to put a little plus sign above that. He did this 4 times and recorded his results in the table shown below. Okay, so in the table we see that it's number cubes. We see the rolls that he rolled 4 times, and then these were the sums that he got when he rolled. And then the question says, what was the sum for all 4 rolls? So again, they're asking us for that sum, and we want it for all 4 rolls, not just 1 or 2, for all 4. Okay, so that means we're just going to have to add up these numbers. One strategy that you could use is you could take your positives and add your positives together first, then take your negatives and add your negative together, and then add those sums together. Okay, so that's the strategy that I want to use. I want to put my positives together first. So 4 plus 1 is 5. And then the negatives, we have negative 2 plus negative 3. That's going to give me negative 5. So 5 positives and 5 negatives equals 0. Look at that. The answer's not here. There's no 0 there. If you ever get a question on a STAR test, like an official STAR test, and the answer choice is not here, I want you to be super careful with those. I want you to check it 3 or 4 times. Make sure you did it correctly, because those are very rare on a STAR test. They do happen, and you can get a not here answer, but they're very rare. So if you get a not here answer on your STAR test, just go back and check it and recheck it. When you finish the whole test, go back and check it one more time. Make sure it's really not there before you choose it. Okay? They do happen, but just very rarely. All right, number 2. In a game with a standard deck of cards and the scoring system in the chart below, 3 cards are dealt and added together to get the final score. They're added together. Dylan is dealt the 4 of hearts, the king of spades, and the 3 of diamonds, as seen in the picture. Oh, look right there. There they are. What is his final score? Okay, so they told us in the problem, right, that they use a scoring system and that they add it together to get the final score. Okay, so we have to look to see what they tell us about the final score. So they add it together to get the final score. All right, so let's see what each one of these things is worth. So we have a 3 of diamonds. So diamonds are red, so it's a negative value. And it's in the 2 through 3, so it's equal to their value. So the 3 is negative, and it's here in this part, so it would be a negative 3. So that would be the same for the hearts, right? That would be a negative 4. And then the king is black, so the black card is positive. So the black card is positive. And it's a king, and a king is considered a face card. So the king is worth 10 points, and it's positive. So that would be plus 10. So I'm going to kind of do what I did on the first one. I'm going to put my negative values together first. So I'm going to put negative 3 and negative 4 together. So 3 negatives and 4 more negatives. They're all negatives, so they give me 7 negatives. All right, plus 10 positives. So those 7 negatives will go over, get 7 of those positives. I'll take them away. We'll make those 0 pairs, and then our answer will be 3. We'll have 3 positives left. So the answer is C. All right, number 3. Number 3 says, which expression is not equal to the number 0? Now, I don't like these questions. You probably don't like them either. I don't like them because it's really not one question. It's really 4 questions. All right, we have to answer each one of these, A, B, C, and D, to figure out which one is not equal to the number 0. Now, some kids do this. They get an answer, it's 0, and then they just pick it. And they say, well, that's it. That's the answer. I don't have to do the rest of them. I do not suggest you do that. Because you could have messed up. You could have made an error. And if you make an error and you get, let's say you get 2 zeros, they make these tricky on purpose to make sure you know what you're doing, right? So maybe you get 2 zeros because you messed up. You're just learning this. That could happen. So if you do all of them, then you can make sure you get it right. All right, so we're looking for the one that is not equal to 0. All right, so 5 minus 5, we learned that a long time ago. We know 5 minus 5 is 0. Okay, 6 minus negative 6. 6 minus negative 6. So if we keep switch on that, that will be 6 plus 6, which will give us 12. All right, C says negative 7 plus 7. So 7 negatives and 7 positives, they'll all go together, and they will equal 0. There'll be none left over. And then negative 8 minus negative 8. So we're going to keep switch. We're going to change that to plus a positive 8. So 8 negatives and 8 positives. That also equals 0. So which expression is not equal to 0? B. You see how clear and sure we are? By doing each one, we know for sure that B is not equal to 0 and the rest are. All right, number 4. A teacher wrote this expression on the board. What is the value of the expression? Now, I hope when you see that, I hope little bells, whistles, and little remembering things come into your brain and you remember this. I hope you remember your PEMDAS. Remember, whenever you are given an expression, you have to follow order of operations to get the right answer. If you don't follow order of operations, you will not get it right. All right, so the parentheses, we do what's inside the parentheses first. Now these right here, this is negative 8 and 6. There's nothing to do inside those parentheses. Those parentheses are just there to tell you that you're going to multiply those two numbers. There is something to do inside these parentheses though. So we're going to do negative 50 divided by negative 5 first. I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this because it's little. So we're going to do this first. Negative 50 divided by negative 5. Oops, sorry. I'm going to rewrite everything. When you do order of operations, you rewrite everything down the same except the thing that you changed. So we're changing negative 50 divided by negative 5. And that's going to give us 10. And it's going to be positive because a negative times a negative is a positive, or a negative divided by a negative is a positive. Okay, so we've done parentheses. You're going to learn about exponents this year, so we don't have any of those. Then we're going to do our multiplication and division in order from left to right. So the first thing we come to is our negative 8 times 6. Negative 8 times 6 is negative 48. Divided by 10. So negative 48 divided by 10. That answer is not over there. That's okay. We're just going to get the right answer. So 48 divided by 10 is going to be 40. Bring down the 0. Bring up the decimal. 10 goes into 80 8 times. So 4.8, and it's going to be negative because a negative divided by a positive is a negative. I don't know what happened over here to these answer choices, but none of those are correct. Oh my gosh. Do y'all see what I did? Look at what I did. Do you see the mistake before I show you? Miss Johnson's old eyes read that wrong. Look at that. No wonder the answer wasn't there. That's supposed to be a plus sign. Goodness gracious. Okay, well, when that happens, you just cross out your mistake. You fix it. I'm just going to erase this. All right, so negative 48 was the next step. Plus 10. So those 10 positives, going to go over there, get those 10 negatives. They're going to become 0, so we're going to subtract them away. And we're going to be left with negative 38. And that answer is there. So when I saw the answer wasn't there, I went back and looked at the expression and I found my mistake. And sometimes that happens, so make sure you check like that. All right, let's look at number 5. Number 5 says, which expression has a value of negative 40? So again, one of those questions where that is a lot of work. It's really not one question. It's really 4 questions. But we're going to persevere, and we're going to do every single one of them. All right, so we have 44. We have to follow order of operations for this too. Kind of keep our work organized. So we have A. So 44 divided by negative 2 plus 62. So we're going to divide before we add. So 44 divided by 2 is 22. And is it positive or negative? It's negative. We have positives and negatives. So we're going to subtract them. So I'm going to come to the side. And I'm going to do 62 minus 22. That's 40. Is it positive or negative? It's positive because we have more positives. Okay, so A is 40. Okay, B. B says negative 2 plus 16 minus negative 2 plus 28. So remember, this parentheses does not mean multiply. It's just saying that that is a negative 2. Okay, so all we have is addition and subtraction. So we're just going to go in order from left to right. So the first step we're going to do is negative 2 plus 16. And that is 14. Because the signs are different. So we're going to take away our 0 pairs. We're left with positives. And then we have our next step is going to be 14 minus negative 2. The minus and negative, we're going to keep change switch. So 14 plus 2 is 16 plus 48. Not 48, Miss Johnson. Making all kind of mistakes today. Erase that. 28. So 16 plus 28. I'm going to go to the side because I do not know what that is. I'm pretty sure it's not going to be 40 though, because 16 plus 8 is 14. So that's 44. So that's not negative 40. All right, C. I'll try to do C down here. C is negative 4 times 7 minus 2 times 6. So we follow order of operations. We're going to multiply before we subtract. Okay, so we're going to do negative 4 times 7 first. So 7 times 4 is 28. And then a negative times a positive is a negative. And then minus 2 times 6. So now we're going to do 2 times 6. And 2 times 6 is 12. We're going to keep change switch. So negative 28 plus negative 12. So those are all negatives. 28 negatives and 12 negatives, so we're not making any zero pairs. So we're just going to add those together to see how many negatives we have. I think this one might be our answer. So we're going to check the last one just in case we made a mistake. Alright, D says 6 times negative 5 plus 6 minus negative 4. Okay, so we got to do our multiplication before our addition and subtraction. So 6 times 5 is 30. And it's going to be negative plus 6 minus negative 4. Remember, these parentheses are just saying that that's a negative 4. It doesn't mean multiply, doesn't mean do first, because there's nothing inside. Just telling you, just separating that out, saying that's negative 4. Okay, so now we just have addition and subtraction, so we're going to go in order from left to right. So we have negative 30 plus 6, that's going to be, so I'm going to have to subtract those two. I'm going to subtract the zeros away. So I'm just going to go to the side, make sure I get that right. It's going to be 24. Now, is it positive or negative? Yep, it's negative 24 because we have more negatives. Minus negative 4. So if I have 24 negatives and I'm taking away 4 negatives, that's going to leave me 20 negatives. So negative 20. And that means our answer is C. Okay. I'm going to end this video now, and I want you to try the last 4 by yourself. Just do your best on them. I am going to do a second video that explains them. But now that we did a few, I want you to go ahead and try the last 4 and see how you do.